It started with a scream. Not the kind of scream that comes from fear or joy or even pain. No, this was a scream born from confusion, from a small body soaked in discomfort, from a baby who didn't understand why her cries weren't being answered. She was 6 months old, and she had been sitting in the same diaper for 9 hours. When I walked into the house that evening, my eyes immediately went to the crib. It wasn't in the nursery. It had been dragged into the living room, wedged between the couch and the TV, surrounded by a scattering of toys and unwashed bottles. My baby girl was in it, red-faced and howling. Her blanket was half kicked off, her cheeks stained with dried tears. And across the room, there he was, my husband, controller in hand, locked into a game, eyes flicking from the screen to me like I was the distraction. He looked annoyed, confused even. Said he didn't know what was wrong. I didn't respond. Not right away. I walked straight to my daughter, scooped her up. The smell hit me before the weight did. The diaper was swollen, bulging. She whimpered against my chest. Her skin was hot, raw. I knew that Rash was going to be angry by morning. I asked him when he last changed her. He blinked, then shrugged. Said something about forgetting. Said something about being busy. Busy playing a video game. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Now, before you judge me, let me give you some context. I'm 35, I'm a nurse, I work full-time, long shifts, high stress. I spend my days on my feet, helping strangers live a little longer, breathe a little easier. Then I come home and I'm mom, dinner maker, homework helper, diaper changer, midnight rocker. We have 2 kids, a 6-year-old daughter who's just starting to understand the world, and a 6-month-old baby who's just beginning to trust it. My husband works night shifts, 3 nights a week. When he's not at work, he's supposed to be home with the kids, supposed to help, supposed to be a partner. He used to, before he bought the PS5, before he started staying up late with coffee and headphones and a blank stare, promising he just needed to unwind. Before meals became optional and chores became someone else's problem. Before he forgot how to brush his teeth. Before he forgot how to be a father. He used to do the dishes, fold laundry, change diapers. Now I found myself making checklists just to get through the day. And still, I couldn't count on him to do the basics. So I did what I thought was reasonable. I called my mom. I asked her to come help around the house, hold the baby while I napped, brush the 6-year-old's hair before school. My husband didn't like that, said it made him look bad, said I should have just asked him for help. So I gave him another chance. The morning before that shift, I sat him down, told him everything that needed to be done. I reminded him. I looked him in the eye. He said the words, "Don't worry about it." And I wanted to believe him. I really did. But when I called during my lunch break just to check in, he said everything was fine. He said the baby was good. He said not to worry. When I walked into the house and saw the crib in the living room, the lie wrapped itself around my throat like a wire. The 6-year-old's hair was tangled and greasy. The sink was full. The floor was sticky. And my baby had been screaming so long her voice was hoarse. So I yelled. I yelled like I haven't yelled in years. I told him he was neglectful, reckless, that he forgot about his kids because he was too busy pressing buttons on a screen. He rolled his eyes, said I was overreacting, said it was my fault because I didn't remind him again on the phone, and then he left, grabbed his keys, slammed the door, left me with the crying, the mess, and the smell of rot. A few minutes later, my phone rang. It was his mother. She didn't call to check on the baby. She didn't ask about the rash. She called to scold me, told me I was pressuring her son, that I was controlling, that he works nights to support this family and maybe I was just stressed from my job, lashing out unfairly. I tried to explain. I told her the baby was left in a diaper for 9 hours, that I came home to screams and filth. She didn't want to hear it. So I hung up and stood there, staring at the wreckage of my life. My 6-year-old tugged on my shirt, asking if she could have dinner. I realized no one had fed them, not even a snack. I held back tears as I boiled pasta with one arm and held the baby with the other. I didn't sit down for another 3 hours. My husband still hasn't come home. He sent a text hours later saying I embarrassed him in his own house. I haven't replied. It's hard to find words when you're this tired, because I'm not just physically exhausted. I'm exhausted from carrying this family like a secret, from doing it all while pretending I have a partner, from being gaslit into thinking I'm controlling, for asking a grown man to change his own daughter's diaper. I don't know what happens next. I'm scared, and I'm angry, and I'm tired of asking for permission to be mad about things that matter. So, am I the asshole? Let me tell you something, as the narrator of this story. There are some stories that sound unbelievable until they happen to you. This one? It's not about diapers, or even about gaming. It's about the slow unraveling of trust. It's about how easy it is for someone to confuse responsibility with control. It's about what happens when one partner starts seeing basic parenting as optional. And it's about a woman who has spent every waking moment holding the seams of her family together while the person who was supposed to love her disappeared behind a screen. We talk a lot about burnout, about postpartum depression, about gender roles and labor and equity in parenting. But what we don't talk about enough is this: the invisible war that so many mothers are fighting in silence. The war of reminders, of unpaid labor, of biting your tongue because asking twice makes you nagging, but not asking at all means your child goes hungry. If you're listening to this and feeling seen, really seen, maybe it's time to stop apologizing for being tired, for being angry, for being done. Because when someone leaves a baby in a diaper for 9 hours, that's not forgetfulness. That's not just tired. That's neglect. So here's your question, AITA family. What would you have done if it were your baby? Let us know in the comments. And if you've ever had to carry more than your share, say it out loud. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. You're doing what someone else should have been doing with you. You're showing up, and that counts for something. This has been AITA Stories. We'll see you next time.